acceptance sampling. When the product has been manufactured, the next step is to see whether it has been manufactured properly. It conforms to the standard, whether it is falling under control limits or not. Before shipping it to the customer, you should ensure that your product is a quality product. The standard which you have set for your customer, the standard which you have set for your company, your product is falling in that. So this is which is there in the case of acceptance sampling. That is, you are going to take sample, and on the basis of that you are finding out whether the product is to be accepted or product is not to be accepted. There may be different scenarios for that. You are having whole lot, taking a product, investing it one by one, each and everything you are going to see. Obviously it is not feasible. Why it is not feasible? Because it is going to take much time, more time. Many workers are going to be associated. Cost associated is going to be more. Time lag is going to be there. So you cannot sustain in the competitive market. When you cannot sustain in the competitive market, obviously you need to devise certain method so that your product which has been manufactured, you are able to inspect that. You can ensure that the product which you are giving to your customer, it is going to fall under the quality limits. Let us see what the acceptance sampling methods are. So as just now we have seen that it is a procedure for quality testing. Here in the case of acceptance sampling, you are taking a random sample, you are checking it. If it is within the acceptable limit, you are going to accept that. If the defects are more, you are going to reject that. This is not a process where you are checking the quality for improvement. It is, you are checking it so that it is falling under the specified limits or not. So it is not improving the quality. You are inspecting that. Inspection means that it is whatever standards are there, it is meeting those standards or not. You are ensuring that product meets the process requirement. And it is different from statistical process control, as acceptance sampling is done before or after the process and not during the process. You carry out this acceptance sampling before and after the process and not during the process. So this is the difference between the statistical process control and the acceptance sampling. Types of sampling plan, different types of sampling plan are there. Single sampling plan, double sampling plan, multiple sampling plan, and the sequential sampling plan. Let us see one by one. What is a single sampling plan? In the case of single sampling plan, you take randomly a sample and you say that you are going to accept the lot if the defects or the defective component in that lot are C. So you can say that you are going to accept the lot if the quality characteristics has less or equal to C defects. Your objective is that you are going to accept the lot if the number of defects are C, and if the number of defects are more than C, you are going to either reject the lot or you are going to inspect whole of the lot. So in this case, what are you going to do? In the case of single sampling plan, you are deciding that your product is either falling in the criteria or not falling in the criteria. If the number of defects are more than C, you are going to reject the lot. If the number of defects are less than C or equal to C, you are going to accept the lot. When the defects are more than C, another option is this, that you may go for complete inspection of your lot. But what happens? Sometimes you have taken a random sample and by chance that sample has more number of defectives what are allowed, by chance, just by chance. So what are you going to? You are going to reject a good lot. A good lot is rejected, otherwise just by chance it has more number of defects. So this is a flaw there, that a good lot could be rejected if the sample contains an unusually large number of defectives. This is just by chance. While another may be this, that a bad lot may be accepted if the quality in the sample is better than in the lot. That by chance in the sample you are going to accept on the basis of that sample, though the lot is not saying that story. So a bad lot could be accepted if the quality in the sample is better than double sampling plan. Here you are having two sample sizes, or two sampling plans are there. Two sampling plans, N1 and N2 you have taken, and two acceptance number, C1 and C2 you have taken. Obviously, if defects are less or equal to C1, you are going to accept the lot. If your sample has more than C2, you are going to reject the entire lot. But the sample, since the sample is having more number of defects, you are going to reject the entire lot. But if the defect is lying between C1 and C2, then you are taking a larger second random sample. A large sample you are going to take of size N2 and going to inspect it. After inspection, you find out that the combined number of defects are less or equal to C2. That is, combined number of defects are less or equal to C2, you are going to accept the lot. Otherwise, you are going to reject this. So this is a two-stage process. So you are not going to reject the lot on one sample only. So there is a safeguard here. In this case, you are going to take two samples into consideration. On the basis of two samples, you are going to decide whether you are going to accept the lot or you are going to reject the lot. That's why this is known as double sampling plan. This is better than the single sampling plan. In the case of sequential sampling plan, you are inspecting one by one. That is, the results of random samples of one unit tested one by one are compared to sequential sampling chart. Charts are there. You are inspecting one by one and comparing the data on the basis of the sequential sampling charts. And on the basis of the chart, you are going to define, or you are going to decide whether you are going to reject, whether you are going to accept, or you need to continue sampling, or you need to continue inspecting, depending upon what results you are getting. The advantage is this, that average number of items inspected in this are usually lower if you are going for sequential sampling plan. Then what the chart says, let us see. This is the chart. You are having cumulative sample size, and these are number of defects. You are inspecting this and you are going to see whether it is falling in which category. If it is having more number of defects, you are going to reject the lot. But if you are going to inspect the sample and it says on the basis of the chart you have to continue sampling, you go on continue sampling, and otherwise you are going to accept the chart. So in the case of sequential sampling, you are going to see one by one and you are comparing on the basis of the chart to accept the sample or to reject the sample. Operating characteristics curve. This is also known as OC curve, and it displays how a sampling plan separates between good and bad lots. On the basis of this curve, that is OC curve, you can see that sampling plan can differentiate between good and bad lots. So this is the relationship between probability of acceptance a lot and a fraction defective for a given sample size and acceptance number. So you are drawing a curve between probability of accepting a lot and fraction defective for a given sample size and acceptance number. X-axis shows percentage of defective items. That is, percentage of defective items you are going to show on the x-axis, while on the y-axis you are going to show the probability or the chance of accepting a lot. Let us see what operating characteristic curve is look alike. This is operating characteristics curve. Alpha and beta, these are shown here. Alpha, it is known as producer's risk, and beta, it is known as consumer's risk. Alpha is producer's risk, that is, it is in some cases when the product should be accepted, should have been accepted, but has been rejected, that is called producer's risk. While in the case of consumer's risk, the lot which should have been rejected but has been accepted. So obviously, since it has been accepted, the disadvantage is going to be for the consumer. That's why it is known as consumer's risk. So probability of acceptance is going to be there, and percentage defective are going to be there. Here we are going to define AQL and LTPDT. AQL is acceptable quality level, while LTPD is lot tolerance percent defective. What are these? We are going to see here. Acceptance or acceptable quality level is the poorest level of quality for the supplier's process that a customer would accept as a process average. This is the poorest level. If the level of quality is going to be more, that is, you can say more poor than this level, then the customer is not going to be accept. This is the maximum one, that is the poorest level of quality for the supplier. While in the case of lot tolerance percent defective, it is the quality level considered bad and consumers won't accept defects more than LTPD in an individual lot. So this, in the case of this lot tolerance percent defective, so this is the quality level you are saying that this is bad, and the customer are not going to accept more than LTPD in an individual lot. So the difference between the AQL and LTPD is this, that AQL is the average quality level over a series of lots, while LTPD is on the basis of lot to lot basis. In AQL you are having a series of lots, while in the case of LTPD it is on the basis of lot to lot basis. Producers and consumers risk, we have said that in the case of producers risk, which is represented by alpha, it is here in this the probability of rejecting a good lot. When you are rejecting a good lot, who is at risk? Obviously the producer. So this is also known as producer's risk. And probability of rejecting a lot when the fraction defective is at or above the AQL, this is known as type 1 error. This is the risk there for the producer that his lot was good but it was rejected. This is known as alpha or producer's risk. While in the case of consumer's risk, this is known as beta, and here the chances is this, that the lot should have been rejected but it has been accepted. So when it has been accepted, it is the risk of the consumer. Probability of accepting a bad lot, it is the consumer's risk. And probability of accepting a lot when fraction defective is below LTPD, this is the type 2 error. So producer's risk is known as type 1 error and consumer's risk is known as the type 2 error. Average outgoing quality level you can calculate as P suffix D, PA, capital N minus small n divided by n, where PD is the true percent defective of the lot, PA is the probability of accepting the lot, capital N is the number of items in the lot, and small n is the number of items in the sample. So the maximum AOQ is the highest percentage defective, lowest average quality, which is AOQ, and is known as average outgoing quality level. The maximum AOQ is the highest percentage defective, which is lowest average quality, and is known as average outgoing quality level, that is AOQL. With this operating characteristics curve, we can find out that what is the probability of acceptance a lot, what is the consumer's risk, what is the producer's risk, what is the type 1 error, type 2 error, etc. Thank you.